This is part 2 of engine assembly. So if you haven't seen the first part, click here. Big thank you to Capri Tools. They sent me a lot of tools that I use in this episode, and I'm really thankful for it. Last episode, we finished by putting our pistons in. So to start today, we are putting our timing sprockets and chain on. We got them on, got the timing marks lined up, and then moved on.
So now the cam is moving.
Cool. So I made a list of everything we have to do until the engine is done. So now that we're done with rod caps, we're moving on to the timing cover. Now it's time to get the front seal into the timing cover. So we're gonna put some right stuff on the inside to make sure that it seals nicely. So now we're gonna put the seal into the timing cover. We're using our old oil cap that we ruined as a really nice seal driver. Okay, so it's under there now. I'm just gonna use this ginormous socket to hammer it the rest of the way down. So we're about to put the timing cover on, but first we need to put gasket sealer where the timing cover is going to meet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, Dad. We'll see.
Okay. Good work. All right, let's go do it to the timing cover.
You really don't.
Good.
Cool. Okay, so it's time to install my harmonic balancer, but I wanted to show you why exactly I got a new one, and it's mainly because of this gasket, which is completely blown out and is separating the harmonic balancer, and we read that when that happens, it's time to get a new one. So I'm going to install my new harmonic balancer with my installing kit and then move on to my water pump.
Yeah, that's it. Going on there? There we go, that's it.
Okay, so this is our AC compressor bracket. And we're putting it on right now just because one of the water pump bolts also attaches this, so we can't put all the bolts on without putting this on too. And I'm gonna put some thread sealant on the bolts for the water pump. And onto the oil pump. This is like a high flow oil pump that was recommended by our machine shop, so it's supposed to be high flowing.
I guess either way. Maybe it goes, oh yeah, obviously that was going it backwards, huh?
This bolt is really close to the wall, so I have to use my crow's foot attachment. Okay. Okay, so now that the oil pump is in, we're about to put the oil pan on, but we have to cut the timing cover gasket flat because it sticks up.
Yeah, that's good. Nice. That's pretty flush.
That makes sense. Okay, so now we're gonna get the end cap seals on.
I like it.
Yes, yeah. This in. When we got to the fuel pump, we hit a wall. It had this big lever that kept hitting the cam, and we just didn't know what was wrong. I tried, my dad tried, and we just couldn't figure it out.
I can't tell if I am in the...
We eventually had to talk to a friend that we've made on Facebook. Thank you, John Howard. He basically told us that the little lever that was coming off of it had to go under the cam, not over it. The cam spins, and that pumps the pump, and so we eventually got it on. There it is. At least,
That was right, didn't it?
at least a little bit.
Nice.
So it's time to get the lifters in, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of assembly lube in the lifter bores before we put them in.
Nice.
For the lifters themselves, we coated them with assembly lube, put a blob of assembly grease on the foot, and then I used a magnet to push them down into the bores, which is kind of fun.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Something to push it down?
Dad, I got it.
You got it?
I just used the other end.
Nice work.
Okay, so it's time to get the head on, but first we're gonna tack it to make sure that it's spotless. So now we're gonna put our head guides in. It was actually pretty cool. We made these ourselves, and if you're a part of our Patreon, you can go watch us make this. So go become part of my Patreon. Luke will love that break.
You got it right? Oh. Alright, so we're good. Okay, well, you got us in. There we go. Nice.
Thank you.
Nice job, guys.
So our guides are out. Now we're gonna put our head bolts in, but the guide says that we need to put sealant on all of our left side?
The right side.
Right side head bolts. Thing on top. Okay, hold up. I know some of you are screaming at the screen and being like, no, you're doing it all wrong. The manual says to put the sealant on the right side. Right side.
Right side.
Right side. But when we were doing this, we were a little excited and we weren't thinking about the way the engine was turned, so we put them on the left side, which we realized the night we were editing this video. We even put the bolt with the extra thread on top. We put it inside the valve cover, so not our brightest moment. So the next morning, I went out and I fixed it all, but we did not get it on camera. So just know, it's all fixed. Okay, so we're about to torque down the head bolts, but we have to do them in a specific order, and we also have to do it 3 times. First at 55, then 65, then 75. So this is gonna take a while. I wrote out a chart so I could just look up and see which one was next. And then I marked it out so I could see it really easily.
Yep, next to the end on the right. Number 7. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now I'm doing this.
I'm sorry. You just do your thing. Don't listen to me.
Okay. Don't worry, I'll stop. Okay, now it goes to 65.
Cool. Set her up.
60. Okay, round 2.
This is number 7, right?
Okay, now 75. 75. So now we're going to put the push rods in. We're going to put assembly grease on both sides and then, yeah, just put them in. Dad, should we even have this on? Because I don't think we're going to be able to push these up. I think you put them on after.
You're right. Yep. Oh, yeah, make it less now. Good. 1 and 2. Cool. 1.
Okay, next thing, we're getting the exhaust manifold on. We actually painted our exhaust manifold in Eastwood's high temp coating. And if you want to see that, go to my Patreon page. Okay, so now we're going to torque down the exhaust manifold to 18 foot-pounds with my new torque wrench that Capri just sent to me. It's so new and shiny and pretty, and now I have 2 torque wrenches. Okay, so we could not get anything to fit on to a bolt down here that is behind the compressor bracket. We couldn't get anything to fit and actually torque the bolt. So I got these box end wrenches from Capri really recently, and it fits perfectly.
Done.
Okay, so we have a few more things that we need to put on the engine, or do to the engine, before we can put it in the car. And one of the things is putting the thermostat housing on with our thermostat, our new thermostat. So this bolt goes straight into the water jacket, so we're gonna put some of the, why did I do that?
Thread sealant.
Thread sealant on it like we did for the head bolts. so one of the last things we have to do is get the oil pressure sending unit on. And I'm gonna put a little Teflon tape to make sure it stays.
That's awesome.
It looks so good. I am so excited that the engine is ready to go into the car. There's a few more things we have to do to the engine, adjusting the valves and getting the distributor in, but for the most part, it's ready to be put in the car. What I'm taking out of the garage this week is that it's great to make a to-do list, but it's even better to check it off. Thanks to my brother Luke, who's always there when I need help with the heavy lifting, and thank you again to Capri Tools for supplying most of the tools we used for this episode. As always, thank you to my executive producers, the Bowling family, and Drew Carter. If you want to support me, go to my Patreon page at patreon.com/Ellie'sGarage. I'll see you next time in the garage. So we only have a few more things that we're going to put on the engine before we put it in the car. And one of those things is the thermostat and the thermostat housing. We had got a new thermostat because we had it, so.
Oh, look!
She does care.